I was so tired. I can't move at all. I just lie on my yoga mat. And then I lie there for like 1 whole hour. I can't move at all. My human, we are so lazy. It's our nature thingy, you know. We tend to be lazy without us controlling ourselves.
So both the coach and the student will be fast. The coach will improve fast, and then the student, because it's too difficult, they will give up fast.
They always have a mindset saying that if you don't suffer now, you will suffer later. But learning doesn't mean suffering. But remember, be discomfort, but not too tough for yourself to sustain.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Future Builders Podcast by Empowered Liion. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Ballerina. We are here to help you turn your passion into a fulfilling career and live the life you desire.
It's possible to make money doing what you truly love, and we are doing this right now.
Yes.
Yay!
Daniel, Chinese New Year is coming soon, right? And we definitely want to eat more good food during Chinese New Year. That's why I started to work out recently to bring my weight a little bit lower.
Okay.
So that I can eat more and not gaining too much weight during Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like cheating myself. But then I followed the master on YouTube that teaching people to do 15 minutes workout every day. 15 minutes seems like very short, right?
Yeah.
It's quite achievable. But after I tried the exercise, wow, I was so tired. I can't move at all. I just lie on my yoga mat. And then I lie there for like 1 whole hour. I can't move at all. My whole body was so sore. And I don't even want to start the next workout.
So the workout was too intense for you, right? For the 50 minutes.
Yeah, because I thought it was just 50 minutes. I thought I can achieve it because since everybody comment below, it's so easy to follow. So I'm like, they can do it, why I can't? So I was kind of like doubt myself or not able to sustain it.
Yeah, so you just gave up like very shortly afterwards, right?
Yeah, but I feel so bad. How can we make it work?
Yeah, so for me, right, I also had this new habit before. Like I wanted to try something new, but after a while, I also gave up. I think we have our own ways of doing things. Like when we try to have some new habits for ourselves, right? No, we cannot just blindly follow others because what might work for others might not work for us.
Yeah, I understand. But I just feel like the master say is for beginner, but then I am truly a beginner. I just can't follow them. I feel so bad, so guilty about it, especially like after I ate with my family members, we ate kind of like dessert, snacks, and then just sit on my sofa, lazy on it, but I'm not doing exercise.
Yeah, I think we can move on to the topic of the day.
All right, what's about that?
Yeah, so it is about comfort zone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but this word, this phrase is overrated. People say like you should get out of your comfort zone to learn something new, but what exactly is that, right? Yeah, so I think we will first move on to talk about how our brains are developed, and then we can use the hack to really push ourselves to grow as much as possible within a certain time frame that is sustainable for us.
All right, I think I am the most suitable person to talk about it since it's kind of like medical knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And most of our audience maybe do not have that knowledge. So it's good to share with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our brain, just imagine it like a 3-room house. So in a house, that means house is a brand. Then inside it, there are 3 rooms. So the first room is your front room. It in charge in those instant reaction. You know what's instant reaction?
Maybe it's like when someone just come at you suddenly and run towards you suddenly, then you will just run away instantly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. Or a simplest example is like when you touch the hot water, you just immediately take your hand back. You won't stay there and think, wow, it's hot, kind of hot. What should I do? Then after thinking, you just move your hand away. No, it doesn't work that way, but you will just instantly make your reaction without thinking too much.
Yeah, so it is like your subconscious is doing all the decisions for you, so you don't need to think about it yourself.
Yes, exactly. That's correct. Then move on to our second room. The second room is in the middle. So it in charge of our emotions. For example, okay, maybe teenagers, they always have their crush, right? So when they text their crush, they'll immediately want them to reply them back in a second, a minute. But if they don't, if they take like more than a few hours or maybe more than a day, they might start to get very upset without any reason.
Okay, so that is the emotion part. Maybe I've got one more example. It's like, let's say when you are driving a car, right? Then suddenly, out of nowhere, another car honks at you. Then you just get angry, like why do the person honk at me? Then you
become so rude, right?
Yeah, then you become angry at it. So this instant emotion that we have, so this belongs to the second room in the house.
All right, so we all know that we have subconscious mind and conscious mind.
Yeah.
So these two rooms, which in charge of the instant reaction and emotions, are under subconscious mind. That means we don't need to process through our brain, we don't need to think too much, then we'll immediately do a reaction. That is subconscious mind.
Yeah.
So it processes 11 million times per second. Imagine an engine, it turns 11 million times per second. That's crazy.
Yeah, actually for a car, it just turns for a few thousand times a second.
Yeah, but this is 11 million.
Yeah, so it is impossible for our mind to...
You mean conscious mind?
Yeah, consciously to just think about this 11 million times a second.
Yes, and it works too fast that we can't even realize like how we have this idea. So we're moving on to the third room, which is your back room, the room near your kitchen.
Or maybe the room that most maid stays inside.
Ouch, that's too bad. But it controls about logic and thinking. If you want to be logical, if you want to think, you must rely on this room because it will help you to process all the information that you've got and then give you an idea like how you should make things work.
Yeah, it is like your analytical side. You need to think about a concept. You need to learn something. It is all in this room itself.
Let's say you are doing a math exam and then you solve a question, right? So your first thought is either the question is super easy or the question is super duper tough. That's under emotions, right? But then you need to process through your brain how to solve these questions step by step in order to help you get a higher grade for the exam. So we need the third room, which is logic and thinking, to help us with that. So you need a little bit more energy to process with all the information. And let's say if the third room is an engine, it only runs 40 times per second. So it's like much lesser than the first two rooms.
Yeah, so from the size of the room, I can say that the first two rooms are like much bigger rooms, but for the third room is like so small that they are not comparable.
Yes, if we use country as an example, so the first room, instant reaction, it is developed country. And then for the second room, emotions, it is developing country.
Yeah.
And then for the logic and thinking, it's underdeveloped country because human, we are so lazy. It's a nature thing, we tend to be lazy without us controlling ourselves. So we hate thinking because thinking uses too much of energy. Like early in the morning, you wake up, right? If your colleague call you and ask you a question, you'll be so fed up, I guarantee, because that's not the time for you to think. You're not ready for it.
Yeah, so our brain love to just relax and enjoy. Just don't use the brain is the best.
Yeah, like watching comedy
Yeah.
or watching those cartoons, you don't need a lot of brain power to think about it, to process it.
Yeah, people would rather watch like 2 hours of
Drama
instead of 2 hours of lecture.
Definitely. Like I can recall my memory back to the lockdown period. Like we all have our lessons on Zoom. Then I would just sleep. Or my sister, she'll watch Korean drama while her lecturer is teaching.
Yeah, so that is about how our brain works.
Yes, so through the example of human love to play phone on bed early in the morning or before sleep, or just relax on the sofa, or just watch drama, right? That's because the subconscious mind actually control over our mind. We all prefer enjoy but not thinking. And that's we call comfort zone.
Therefore, as human, right, we need to grow. Grow means to say we need to overcome our instinct reaction. Because that's a difference between human and animals, right? For animals, they do not think logically. But for human, we can use our third brain to think analytically.
So, for example, a dog, it has the instant reaction and it does have the emotions as well. So the only difference between human and animal is just about thinking, right? So without thinking, we are actually having no difference than animal. We are living like an animal, don't you agree that? Yeah, so this is the key important point. We have to be conscious while doing everything.
Just now you talk about comfort zone, right? It is very, very common that people say, you need to get out of your comfort zone to be better. But what exactly means like get out? Like get out to where? Like what is outside of that comfort zone?
That's a very good question, Daniel, because I did a little bit of thinking before the recording of this episode of podcast. So comfort zone, to my own understanding, is like you have been very comfortable doing something. For example, let's say playing. We have been very comfortable to play video games or just watch drama while eating, right? We will just do it naturally without people instruct us to do, without forcing ourselves to do it.
So it's like relaxed mode when you are doing that thing and it doesn't require much active thinking while doing the stuff while you are in the comfort zone.
Kind of, but we cannot say the thing is like very easy to do because it's easy for us, but it might not be easy for others. So it's all about ourselves as a person, as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, so as long as you feel comfortable in doing that thing, you don't need to spend a lot of energy or too much thinking to do that thing. It is called comfort zone. Let me give you a very simple example. For example, we got E people and I people. E means extrovert and I means introvert, right? So we all know that extrovert, they are like social butterflies. They like to, social butterflies in a good way. They like to having some conversation with others. They like to make new friends. They like to explore places, explore food with their close ones. But for introverts, we like to stay in our own place. We don't like to communicate with people. We hate talking so much. So comfort zone for the extroverts are communicating with people to make friends. They feel very comfortable with it. But it's not the comfort zone for those introverts.
So it depends on different people's perception about the activity itself.
Yes, that's true. So different people definitely have their own comfort zone, which might not be so comfortable for others.
Yeah. So outside of comfort zone, there's this uncomfortable zone, or we call it red zone, right?
I attended a course before, and I remember the speaker told us, if you want a success, you must be uncomfortable. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? But I think not too uncomfortable also.
Yeah. So if the activity is too uncomfortable, it's like too difficult, people will just give up easily.
Yes, that's the red zone that you talked about just now. Red zone means it seems achievable, but it is too difficult for you to sustain.
And you may be too stressful while doing that thing. And then the success rate, it could be very low, that whenever you do the activity, you just fail and then you just don't want to do it anymore.
Yes, just take my exercise example earlier on to discuss about this concept. That means 15 minutes beginner workout seems very easy to achieve. And indeed, I achieved it for one day.
Yeah.
But then it was too tired afterwards. And I don't even want to continue on the next day. So it is easy to achieve, but not sustainable.
Yeah, so it is achievable. Like people would like to make a new habit of wake up at 5 a.m. every day. They could do it for the first few days, but it is too painful for them to keep doing it.
Yes, you got what I mean. That means it is definitely achievable, but you need a lot of effort, you need a lot of energy to complete it.
Yeah, maybe you need more willpower to do it. But willpower is limited. You cannot just depend on willpower every single day to get things done.
Yes. So you know how to be successful.
I think there should be a layer in between the comfort zone and the red zone.
Definitely. That's called stretch zone. Like the stretch is after the exercise, you do some stretching, that kind. So the stretch is helping you to be a little bit uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable at the same time.
Meaning to say there's a certain level of difficulty, then probably after you have achieved the activity, then you feel very satisfied and you want to do a little bit harder next time.
Yes. That means you got a sense of achievement, then you feel like, all right, I can do better definitely next time. So you will keep having that kind of motivation to push you forward.
Yeah, so in terms of this, right, probably if people are working on the red zone, they will burn out very soon. But in the stress zone, they can just keep themselves motivated because of this like dopamine, right? The happy chemical. After you've done something, you feel happy, then you just keep doing it.
Oh, then you started to have more and more medical knowledge. I remember you told me about the rubber band example last time. Would you like to share with the audience who are listening right now?
Yeah, about the rubber band, right? Let's say when you don't stretch the rubber band, it is in its original shape. So it's like your comfort zone. But if you stretch too hard, it will break straight away. So that is the red zone. So the optimal way is to stretch a little bit for long enough time. And then when you release it, right, you realize that the rubber band is slightly longer than its original length. So that extra length, right, it is the learnings or the improvements that you have made on that topic itself.
So the key is to stay in the stretch zone as much as possible, as long as possible.
Yeah, because if you just stretch for a short while and then you release it, it will go back to its original length. It doesn't become longer.
I know girls must know this theory because you know the rubber band that we use to tie our hair. When we first bought it, it is like a very tight one, a very small circle, very tight.
Yeah.
But as we tie our hair every day, it suddenly become loosen and loosen to the shape that quite comfortable. Yes. Then I think we did discuss about the flow recently, right?
Yeah, so flow is a state where you do something that is a bit challenging, and then when you succeed on it, you want to keep going. It will motivate you to keep going.
I think it is quite similar to the concept of the stress zone.
Yeah.
The most important thing is we have to be sustainable and then keep doing the same thing every day. And once it get comfortable, start to like step up a little bit, so make it become a little bit uncomfortable, but not too much.
Yeah, so it will become a positive feedback loop for it. So when you do this long enough, right, before you know it, you will have grown much better on the topic itself.
I see, I see.
The key is to be consistent with it.
Yes, definitely. And then for those beginners who just started using this method, right, to step out of your comfort zone to the stress zone, I think most of the people, they might set a higher target.
Or probably they will just follow some gurus' advice, like some coaches' advice, that you should just do this A, B, C, D, E every single day, and then you will succeed in 1 month.
That's I can say it's too ambitious, but it's not sustainable.
Yeah, put it in another way, like when the coach tell the person to do this A, B, C, D, E, so this task, right, it might be quite easy for the coach, but it will be too difficult for the beginner.
So that's what we call the red traps.
Yeah.
We have to avoid it on the journey, definitely, because we have to know ourselves better, like what is easy for us, what is difficult for us.
Yeah.
Because everybody have their own definition. It's not certain for everybody. So I remember talking about the course that I attended last time. Remember, I just said just now we have to be uncomfortable to be successful. So I am definitely an introvert and I don't like to talk to people or meeting new friends. I feel it's too stressful for me. But then they force us to talk with one another.
Yeah.
That means like all the attendees have to talk to each other during the break time. We have to do some networking session. Yeah, so that one is actually truly uncomfortable for me to start a conversation with them. I mean, okay, for my comfort zone, I don't like to talk. I like to keep quiet and just observe people around me. Then my stress zone is saying hi to new people. Like they ask my name, then I introduce myself, and that's it. The conversation ends there. So that's my stress zone. That's the furthest I can make. And if you ask me to start a conversation with people, like you have to discuss maybe your favorite hobbies or what you have learned, everything, I guess that's too much for me. Although for others that might be quite comfortable because they're used to say hi to people, used to introduce themselves to people, that's comfortable for them. But yeah, for me it's totally different. So the coach is actually using this method to make us successful, but that's red trap, I would say.
Yes, so both the coach and the student will be fast. Now the coach will improve fast, and then the student, because it's too difficult, they will give up fast.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of the other example, it could be seen in the parents, like when raising the kids. So let's say there's this parent A. Now, this parent A's child is very good in school because the child attends a lot of tuition classes and do very well. Then there's this parent B that the child doesn't attend any tuition classes. Then parent B saw that child A is like doing so well by attending so many classes. So the parent B asked the child to do the same thing, go and sign up for many classes, but it eventually burn out for the child A?
Because for the tuition class, it's the stress zone for child A, but it's red zone for child B. So eventually, the child B will burn out instead of helping him or her.
Yeah, so child B will just like even hate the subject much.
Yeah, and the result will be even worse.
Mm.
So in order to solve this problem, actually the parent B have to sit down together with child B to talk about this, like what areas do they think they can improve further, and sign up for tuition class that match it instead of like sign up for everything.
Yeah, probably start with some easier problems or tuition first.
Yeah. So like for example, you want to score well in math exams.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't do any exercises at home previously at all. Didn't do at all. So if you want to improve a little bit, you can start with doing 5 questions, 5 math questions every day. That sounds easy, right?
Yeah.
Because some might ask their child to do the whole exam paper. Yes, I think that is too much for them and quite impossible because when we do math exam, we need more than an hour to solve all the questions.
Yeah, 5 questions is pretty achievable. And then let's say if they got the answers correct, then just praise them.
Yes, I think you have a Western parent mindset, Daniel.
Yeah, and after that, just add a little bit of difficulty over time, and then the child B will definitely improve and love the subject more.
Yes, I really love this kind of teaching method. And I think that's the improvement that all the Asian parents have to make. Yeah, because they will start loving learning and you'll see them flourish instead of see them suffering. So Asian parents, they always have a mindset saying that if you don't suffer now, you'll suffer later. But learning doesn't mean suffering. You can start from step by step. A little step counts also. Yeah, and Daniel, this is how we improve on our running journey, right?
Yeah, so we use the idea of stretch zone effectively. For example, Belle, you initially cannot even run for 2 kilometers, right?
Yes, I remember I started running in August, and 2 kilometers was too like tough for me to achieve because I feel very tired after it.
Yeah, and then we found the problem is that you were running too fast, meaning to say your pace is very fast. So after that, you just reduce the speed of running and then you can keep up with the distance.
Yes, I focus on my heart rate instead. It's okay to be slow, but most importantly, you're stable.
Yes, so after that you could at a slower speed, but you maintain the heart rate, you could do 2 km. Then after you can improve to 5 km, 10 km, and even right now it's like 21 km already.
Yes, I just finished my half marathon after 5 times of running courses.
This is so good. The result is so impressive.
Yes, I was shocked also because I expect myself to run for half marathon next year in 2025, not so soon. But I was so shocked that I achieved it.
Yeah, so I think this method of stretch zone, it works for all types of learnings or improvements that you want to make.
Yes, remember, it takes a bit of discomfort to get started, especially if this is the first time you're doing a new thing. But remember, be discomfort, but not too tough for yourself to sustain.
Yeah, I strongly believe that just a bit of difficulty at a time is the most optimal way to grow.
Correct. So, speaking of improving your life, if you are feeling stuck in a job and wondering whether to stay or make a change, take the Stay or Slay quiz at www.empowerlion.com/s. It is a quick way to help you figure out if it is time to stay put or transform your career.
It won't be a pleasant experience initially if you needed to make a career switch, but you will reap the rewards later on. Remember, our brain don't like to be uncomfortable, but that will create the best parts of your life.
Yes, and we talked about the flow earlier. You have to be in the flow state, the optimal state, and then you sustain. So that's how you become successful. However, if you stay in a career that you do not like at all, you're in the optimal state indeed, and then you sustain, you maintain whatever you are doing right now, you'll definitely be successful, but you are not happy at all. You hate your day every day. Yeah, so we can choose if we want to be successful happily or we want to be successful but we are struggling.
Definitely. And with that, we want to thank you for joining us on this episode of the Future Builder podcast by Empowered Liion.
We'll cover more useful topics and insightful discussions to help you live the life you desire by integrating your passion into your career. Stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.